the World Conference, Centers for Spiritual Living. It is a grand time to be with colleagues, and it certainly was an emotional time, and I'll talk about that in my lesson entitled Giving. And so, the founder of the science of mind, Dr. Ernest Holmes, wrote this in our textbook. There is no stagnation in spirit, nor should there be any in our idea of spirituality. To be spiritual is to create. The spirit is alive, conscious, aware, and active. I love that. I love that. People come to church and they go, how come you're so happy? How come you laugh? And hello, spirit is alive and active, and it wants to be let out. That's my thinking. That's my thinking. And so, there is no stagnation in spirit. If we look in the world of nature right now, and Sharon spoke about it in her opening treatment, nature in bloom, the spring, the coming, the rain, all of this is spirit expressing itself in a continuous fashion. So what about us? Do we continue in this expression? Or do we say, oh no, not now, not me? No, somebody else can have fun. Someone else can experience life. You get to go do that, not me. Why do we do that? I don't know. We just do it. We're taught. We are taught to do that. We are taught that we're not quite enough. Well, I'm here to tell you, we're more than enough. More than enough. I'm so blessed to be active and alive with this teaching, because it's the science of mind. People get kind of scared about that. What is this woo-woo science of mind? Well, we teach you how to think, not what to think. We teach you how to process. We don't process you. We might assist you with your process, but you get to do the work. Spirit through you gets to do the work. This teaching also serves me as a reminder of what our true nature is and the truth of who we are. And this is that there is one God. There's one God. One God is all there is. One God is all there is. Not just in the flowers, not just in John, not just in me, but in all. In all of us. So in that idea, there is a oneness of all life. A unity that we all can feel alive in. I also know this about the truth of our nature, that, as I said, one God is all there is. It's not a was. It's not a will be. But as all. Right now. There's no more God here now than there's was. And there's no more gonna be than there is now. It's all right here. All right here. It's all right here. God as universal spirit is the giver. God is the giver through us. Because spirit works for us by working through us. Yeah. I was reminded of an expression, and I'm sure, Diana, I've heard it from you. Because you told some of your girlfriends, now you go, girl, you work it. You work it. Yeah, we work. It works through us. We have to allow it to work. We have to open up the mind, the doors of the mind, to say, yeah, okay, well, let's let this work. Because if we can believe and know that Spirit operates through us, that's a great gift. But do we really want to be alive and conscious, aware and active? Do we want to be expressions of this divine nature that we already are? I do. Anybody else? I mean, I do, because I am. There are times that in this human experience that it's quite difficult to remember that, you know? But what I know about human experiences is that they're temporary. They are temporary. And each one has the opportunity to be a great gift. To be a great gift. The theme for March is to experience prosperity. In today's lesson, giving. So, to experience prosperity through giving. What does that mean to you? Prosperity through giving. What's the first thing you think of? Well, it was money. Because that's what the world thinks. Give, give, give. Okay, so, being a wordsmith, I looked some of this up. So giving, or gift, to give, is to make a present of. Is to put in possession of another. To provide a way of entertainment. There's that fun factor. To give way to. To give way to spirit, maybe. And, my favorite, flexibility. Flexibility. Well, there are many ideas, and there are many perceptions of giving. Each one of us, we do have our own. Our own. And some of those ways are easier for us than others. There are certain circumstances we are able to give freely, and others we hold on to very tightly. Tightly. Here are three. Our wisdom. Who doesn't like to give out their wisdom once in a while? Well, I know all about that. I can tell you how to fix that. We call it wisdom. Our money. Got very quiet. Our money. Our money. I know several people who have what's called boatloads of it. Some larger boats than others. But what I know about that is that no matter how much of that a person seems to have around them, there are certain aspects of living that say, oh, I can't pay that much for this. A friend of mine was in a large city and with a bunch of her women friends, and she wanted to have her own hotel room. Well, it was a very expensive room, like $400 a night. You know, to some it's expensive, to some it's not. It's all relative, you see, to your mindset. Well, they were all going to this wonderful place for breakfast, for brunch. She walked up to the door, saw the menu, saw $45. She couldn't do it. She could not go in. So there's a good example to me of, wow, really? Oh, okay. And I tried really hard not to judge that. Because, I'm all about food first. But that's me. That's me. So we're all kind of in a different thinking with regards to the money. So it's just an observation that I've come to now about life. That we all have a different level of acceptance of life and all of its parts. And the third thing we tend to hold on to is our love. Is our love. Well, I had an opportunity to be more alive, conscious, aware, and active of love when I was in Orlando. And it was a time when I got to see all of the professional colleagues of ministry for the first time since Reverend Louis' transition. And it was quite a process. I had to be open and open to whatever was to be next, to live in the moment, to be compassionate to others, to be loving of others, but also to accept that for myself. And I want to share something with you. Reverend Louis always had flowers in our room. Every conference. We'll go out and buy flowers and do an arrangement for the room. Who does that here? One. Yay! Want to travel? Well, what I want to tell you about that is that Reverend Eileen knew that. So I get in my room, and within 10 minutes, here come flowers to the room. She had ordered. So she's busy doing love stuff in the office. But I just want to honor that. You know, it's a package deal. You have to be able to accept the love too. But to have it provided when you least expect it, and then to recognize, oh my gosh, how beautiful is this? I didn't once say I didn't deserve it. I truly didn't say that to myself. I went, oh, how sweet that was. And the whole week was sweet. Every person that I met, every experience, and I was moving into the newness of life because it was new. It's an experience of living, moving into this love. And so what I want to share with you is that on the night of Reverend Louis being honored as with the Ernest Holmes Award, it's a meritorious award for excellence, service, giving, loving without expectation, giving fully, because of something that he loved. And so for me, to give freely is giving out of love, giving totally out of love. And there was so much love in the night of the award that I have some other pictures that Andy's going to show that came through. Some of you've seen if you were here last week, but I just want to share some of the faces, and I think some of them are mine. But magic.
That's holding back.
Okay, folks, love it up, love it up. There we go. Thanks, Andy. Thank you so much, Andy. You're so technically aware. Here it comes. But it was a lovely evening, and there was a song that was played as I walked on stage. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world, which was Louis' favorite. And there's the award given by Dr. John Waterhouse. He's president of our organization. And on the left, of course, is Dr. Ken Gordon. You've seen him here. And they're giving their remarks. One thing Dr. Ken said was, one thing I can say is, he was a friend. He was a friend, a true friend. And so it was a beautiful, beautiful experience to just stand there and be, and feel the love that was for Louis. I'll say it wasn't for me, but the reason all this happened was something that was set up for me to experience. And so that is some of the other shots of the event. And so it was very heartfelt and very special. And I want to say that this example is something that we can all move toward, not maybe with this particular award, but your award, your gift, your love. Thank you, Andy. And so, again, my intentions for the conference were to give myself to each moment, into every expression of every emotion, to be fully present as the love of Spirit. I gave way to a beautiful unfoldment of God's law when I was there, the gift of love. And what I came away with, that it is in the giving that we live. It's always in the giving away of the resistance, Giving up by giving over to God. God as the greater good through our intention to allow Spirit just to be itself. Just to be itself through us. But one thing I know is that we have to give up all of our fears about this and all the resistance to the bounty which surrounds us. I believe giving up is the gift, and one that can be difficult to unwrap. Do you agree? Yeah. It's filled with uncertainties and a few hobgoblins. We unwrap the fears. When we unwrap the gift of giving, it's like the planting of a mighty oak seed. It grows to great heights in its own time, its own space, eventually showing up as this mighty example. And that's what we have within us. This mighty seed of possibility, this potential. Ernest Holmes tells us in Creative Mindedness Success, let us see that we use the right attitude of mind in all that we do, filling ourselves with such courage and power of strength that all thought of weakness flees before us. Yes, it takes courage to give. It takes courage to give. And it takes faith to give into what we know is for our highest good. It takes that faith. There is that within us that knows what's good. There is that within us that knows what's good and it's right and what's supportive. We know that. Little kids know that. Little kids know that. They'll tell you no if they mean no. They do know. And they tell you what they want. The child says, this is what I want. Why do we grow up and not do that? Not do that. And we learn to temper our tempers, don't we? Most of the time. Sometimes a spouse can kind of show us how we're still a child. Moments of intense fellowship, I call that. But we can be in the giving state of mind more of the time when our focus is upon our strength of spirit and not the fears. Not the fears. You want to know what the fears are? Be an objective observer of what's happening in the world, on the planet. They're all in plain sight. They tell us. They tell us. And when you see them, what's your reaction to them? I turn off the sound many times. Just this. Makes a big difference. Makes a big difference. I got to say this again, Kathy Robbins. Her term, conflama, is what I think of. Conflict and drama. Conflama in the world. It's just confusion and it's the fears of the world showing up. And it's an opportunity for us to redirect our focus and our thinking and our energy around it. And what is our intention with all of that? Raymond Charles Barker wrote in his book, You Can, unless you're in a totally unconscious state, there is always something creative you can do. And what do we teach here? Consciousness. Consciousness. The science of mind is a mental university wherein we are allowed, encouraged, and often demanded, think. 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 Think for yourself. To question the thoughts we have as individuals is good because it opens us to a greater way of becoming. What are we becoming? our spiritual magnificence. Our spiritual magnificence. And thereby, when we do so, we create a world that works for all of us. Because we're contributing to our higher good. And it also creates a personal world that rocks for all of us too, doesn't it? It's a lot more fun. So, beloveds, give yourself permission to love yourself enough to free yourself from the thoughts and the things that no longer serve you. Conscious choice. Conscious choice. Open to be more alive and active and aware of your life. And as you do, you are giving your soul the permission that it needs to manifest as the mighty oak that you have within you, your own consciousness. And so, love, live, and give. And so it is. I would invite the ushers to come forward, please.